Hello there, everybody. My name is Emily Slaven, and I'm a member of the Indiana Arthritis Foundation's Board of Directors. In addition to being involved with the Arthritis Foundation, for which I've been involved probably for the last 6 or 7 years, and I may met some of you on different events such as the Walk to Cure Arthritis or the Jingle Bell Run, I'm also a practicing physical therapist, and I have been in my profession for almost 24 years. I really enjoy working with patients who have arthritis and a variety of different forms of arthritis. And my job as a physical therapist is to help my patients better understand how they can move with less pain, with more ease, to do the day-to-day things they enjoy in life. Obviously, with the COVID-19, we've all been restricted in our day-to-day activities to some extent, some more than others. So I'm putting together today this very short video just to talk a little bit about movement, how we think about how best to get our joints moving, because we know a little bit of movement can go a long way. I'm going to start off with a very basic warm-up and then talk about some movements for different joints, some things you can think about as we move through these series of Fitness Friday webinars and videos. So to start off with, if you can, I like to try and do some sort of an active warm-up. So I'm going to step up from my chair, and I'm just going to think about marching in place. It's really important to get blood flow to our limbs and extremities. It is easy in this time to become a little bit chair-shaped with what we do. So just simple marching. If you can, maybe step it a little wider. Just thinking about lifting the knees at a comfortable level to what you can accomplish. If marching in place is not something you can do for maybe 60 seconds to a minute or two, then you could also do this sitting down. You can march your legs in place and just kind of get the blood flow going before we do a few simple stretches. So again, the key is before we do some simple stretches is that we do want to think about a little bit of movement. There is some debate about what is the best type of stretches to do. So movement certainly is important. Taking a moment to give our joints a chance to gently move into a new position is also important. I'm going to start from the top down. We're going to think about just head and neck. Again, it can be easy, particularly if you spent a lot of time on the computers, become a little bit chair-shaped. If I turn my chair sideways, you can see what I mean, that we tend to sit and can get a little bit fixated, particularly if we're spending a lot of time on the computer. So I just want you to think about sitting up. Maybe you can sit away from the back of the chair versus collapsing down to the chair. So think about sitting up as tall as you can. Just very gently taking the head down, maybe holding about 10 seconds, back to neutral, and then have a look up. Good. Each movement nice and slow, just thinking about going as far as you're comfortable, and you know your body better than anybody. Making sure that you're not losing any of that range of motion. We tend as well, not only do we get forward head with our head and neck, but we also can become a little round shouldered, a little tight through the anterior chest wall here in the pectoral muscles and the surrounding muscles. So thinking about, bringing the shoulders back, maybe a little bit of a backward roll. So just lifting up and rolling back. Maybe 5 to 10, just simple rolls, just lifting up and back. For a lot of us, we do carry a fair bit of our tension in our upper trapezius muscle, so this can be a good way to help with that. Good. Just kind of let the shoulders relax. Again, trying to get out of that rounded shoulder position, just trying to bring the shoulders back. Give a little squeeze between your shoulder blades and kind of reset them. Next thing to think about is the low back. As I said, it's easy at this time to become a little chair-shaped as we do less activity. So I want you to think about nice, tall, create that arch in your low back, relax, create the arch in your low back, and relax. Again, working within the range that you feel comfortable, not overstressing it. None of this should cause pain. It is okay to feel a little bit of stretch or strain, but you don't want to have sharp pains as you're doing this. So work within your limits. So you're just kind of creating a rocking movement of the low back. Ideally, again, finding a position where your back is most comfortable. It may be advantageous for those of you who feel best with it to have something in the small of your back just to support that area as you're spending time perhaps sitting, maybe on a computer or watching media. So again, thinking about the overall posture, getting us out of being that rounded chair-shaped person to a little bit more an upright. When it comes to thinking about the muscles in the legs, we can get a little bit tight in the muscles in the front of our hip. So one way to stretch that is to sit to the edge of my chair and to just drop that leg back behind me. I can hold the other side of the chair and I can feel a nice stretch through the front of my hip. Again, that is a muscle that tends to get tight when we sit a lot, the hip flexor group of muscles through here. And I can just balance on my toe. I hold that for about 30 seconds. There's no exact science to how long a hold should be, but you do want your body to get accustomed to that position before you change out. So right about now, what I will do is I'll just simply turn my chair. Again, your best friend at this time is a very simple straight back chair. You can do a lot with this. So again, this position here, I'm just going to drop that leg off the chair, holding the side of the chair for balance if I feel I need it, and just kind of feeling a really good stretch through the front of that left hip there. And I can hold that again for a good 30 seconds. These are muscles that tend to become tight when we sit a lot because they're positioned where the length of the muscle is shortened. So that's a nice stretch for that muscle. Again, the hip flexor there. All right, moving on to another muscle that can get pretty tight. We can get, our hamstrings can be tight, and I'll show a couple of different ways of stretching them. You can, if you're comfortable with your balance, you can put one hand on the wall and bring the leg forward. And just rest my heel on the chair here. And then keeping my back nice and straight, it doesn't take much to lean forward to feel a nice stretch on the back of my left hamstring here. Again, I'm holding for balance, or if you want to have another chair there, that's another way to keep your balance and hold comfortable. Good. And you can repeat on the other side. Same thing, keep nice and straight in my torso, back of my legs straight, heels supported, I feel balanced, and I just very gently lean forward with my body, keeping my chest bone up till I feel a good stretch through the back here. So again, a good 30-second hold in that position. Feel the tightness. Try not to round out your back. Try and keep nice and tall with your posture. Other muscles that can get tight are my calf muscles. So another good use of my chair. Turn it around, pop it up against something that's not going to move, and I can just do a nice stretch here where I've got two toes pointing forward, leaning on the chair for balance, and just very gently moving my pelvis towards the chair while keeping my heel down. I'm going to hang out here for about 30 seconds, just keeping that position. You should feel a nice stretch through the back of the leg. And then when you're ready, I can switch it over to the other leg. Again, nice stretch in the back of the calf, all the way from my heel bone, the calcaneus, all the way up through the back of my knee. If you need to lean on the chair a little bit, if that's more comfortable for your knees and ankles, you can put a little bit of weight through the upper body onto the chair. Now those two stretches can also be accomplished sitting on the chair. If I take the chair to this position, I'm going to lean forward here. I'm going to place my heel of my, move back a little bit. So I'm going to place the heel of my right leg onto the ground there. Again, I'm going to hold the chair. I'm going to feel balanced. I'm just going to lean forward. So I'm stretching my right hamstring in this position. Just a little bit of a pull in the back of my leg from my, literally from my ischial tuberosity, the bone on which I sit, all the way down through the back of the knee. Again, going to the point you feel a pull, no pains in the joints. Ease off. Same thing here. I'll lean forward, keep my sternum up. I try not to round my shoulders. I want to keep my torso nice and straight. Lean forward, And the last thing I can do, to think about pulling my toe back as I do that, I can also get a nice calf stretch in there as well. So stretching the gastric and the soleus muscle. Combine that there. And over the space of just a couple of minutes, you can get all your joints moving from the neck, the mid-back, all the way down through the hip, hamstrings and calf muscles. So hopefully your joints feel a little bit more loose and you feel more comfortable. It's always important to develop a routine, finding a way each day to make exercise and movement part of your daily activity, and then you will start to feel the improvements in how your joints feel. And it can also be a motivationer. You can also feel better for doing that. Thank you for tuning in, and hopefully next week we will talk a little bit about some basic strength exercises.